Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Enlevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. Well, we wrapped up the Ohio State Fair yesterday. Let me backpedal a little bit and get you to a couple champions in there. On the champion market barrel, that was shown by Carly Kennedy of Adams County, and the reserve went to Kylie Locke of Clark County. That was Friday night. On Saturday night, on the market beef program, Essie McGuire of Champaign County had the grand champion market beef. Reserve champion market beef went to Aniston Oshitz of Tuscarawas County. We'll get to a couple results from the sale. You can check out all the details on that from ohioagnet.com. But in the sale of champions, the first item out across the show ring, it did end up with a record. That is the cheese representing the dairy industry, Swiss cheese, and it sold for a new record, $54,000, purchased by Vivek Ramaswamy. And the other new record went to Carly Kennedy of Adams County, the grand champion market barrel. It sold for $101,000. Total for the sale came in at $498,000. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
We've got a dry week setting up over a large part of Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. We may see a little bit of cloud cover getting close to the Ohio River here today into tomorrow, kind of setting up over central to western Kentucky, southwest Indiana, southern Illinois. I don't really think it gives us precipitation, though. Just some cloud cover near the river, and everybody turns out to mostly dry through tomorrow as well. Again, maybe some clouds, slightly better chance at a pop-up shower in southwest Ohio tomorrow, but everybody else is doing just fine. Humidity values in areas away from the regions we just talked about should stay under control. I'm looking at a pretty nice setup here for today, tomorrow. Once we get to midweek, we start to see humidity values creep up everywhere else, but I'm keeping it precipitation free here through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. As a matter of fact, the next frontal boundary that I thought had a decent chance at bringing moisture for Saturday, Sunday has dissipated over the weekend. I think we make it all the way through Sunday with no significant precipitation threat, and we go into next week, a frontal boundary setting up to our northwest, moving through parts of Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois. I think it takes its own sweet time getting here. May see a little bit of front running overnight Sunday night into early Monday morning. Hit and miss the scattered showers, 60% coverage, but our frontal boundary then shows up Tuesday night through Wednesday. That's where we see 75% coverage with rain at a quarter to 3/4 of an inch. Behind it, very warm, very humid. Maybe a pop-up shower or two, but no well put together, well organized frontal boundary through the rest of next week. We just stay warm and dry. I think a lot of us are going to be looking for rain by the end of next week with more certainty than what we've got right now. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Powered by Soy Biodiesel. Later today, I'll be appearing at the Holmes County Fair, all thanks to Axis Seeds and their next check presentation. On Tuesday, we'll head down to the Ohio Corn Growers office for their monthly update. On Wednesday, we'll be bringing you some of the highlights of the Ohio Crop Tour. And on Thursday, back to the Axis County Seed Tour, and that takes us to the Mercer County Fair.
Joining me is Daniel Stansberry with Ag Revolution. And Daniel, you talk about producers that are out there. Some are open to new ideas. Some are pretty set in your ways. But at the same time, the idea that you're going to come to their facility, how many trucks in Ohio? How big of an area can you get to? How long do you spend on a farm compared to the time it takes to drive one in, get it fixed, and haul it home?
Yeah, so in Ohio, we've got 15 mobile service trucks, and we've got 4 brick and mortar locations. You know, Ag Revolution was really founded on mobile support, mobile service, come to the farmer, meet them where they're at, right, and save time and create more uptime. You know, one thing when we look at the mobile strategy, think of it as this. You know, we've got 15 mobile trucks that can be in 15 places today, 15 places tomorrow, and we can be in 2 or 3 places within one day on that mobile truck through our technician scheduling platform that we used, using the analytics to assign the closest tech to that job to the next job. But at the end of the day, AgRev, we've really looked at this mobile structure to be able to take the available funds to put in mobile fleet versus brick and mortar that never changes. We can't move that store around every day like we can these trucks. So the more trucks we have on the road, the more speed to solutions we have for our growers. And at the end of the day, the more customers we can support and keep their machine running.
It's called Ag Revolution. You can find them online at agrev.com. Daniel, thanks for sharing.
Yep, thank you for having us.
In other news, President Donald Trump on Thursday announced a series of tariff moves against U.S. trading partners as he continues to pressure trading partners to bend to his will. As the president presses his case, U.S. agriculture export sales right now remain down from a year ago, while commodity groups continue to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. Trump raised tariffs on Canadian products from 25 to 35%. Trump accused Canada of not doing enough to reduce drug trafficking, while he also claimed Canada had been working to upend his trade tariff plans. U.S. agriculture exported $29.5 billion in products to Canada in 2024, though the pace has slowed slightly, down 3% through May, according to USDA data. Imports of Canadian agriculture products were nearly $41 billion last year, but they have dropped 4%. While tariffs were raised on Canada, Trump gave Mexico another 90-day extension this week after speaking with the Mexican president. Products that fell under the U.S.-Canadian-Mexican agreement will remain at their current tariff levels. Mexico remains the top market for U.S. agriculture products with nearly $12.3 billion in sales through May, down 2% from a year ago. Mexico imported $30.2 billion in U.S. agricultural goods in 2024. Back with more after this.
Tuesday, August 12th is the day to be in Fayette County for the Southwest Ohio Corn Growers Agronomy Field Day, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Fayette County Airport, Washington Courthouse. Hear from experts like Aaron Wilson, Scott Shear, Rodrigo Worley, Emma Matcham, Tad Nicholson, Mitchell Feeney, and Wendy Osborne on the latest in ag weather, weeds, cover crops, and more. Enjoy free breakfast and lunch, plus a chance to win one of two $500 gift cards for Corn Growers members. Details can be found at fayette.osu.edu.
Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on August 7th and 8th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from close to 1,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, truck, tractors, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on August 7th and 8th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com.
Oil futures dipped to close the week on Friday following the announcement of new tariffs imposed by the United States on some trading partners. Expectations of ample supplies from OPEC Plus output increase, and the reports of a slight increase in U.S. unemployment data in July. The front month New York MEX WTI futures contract dropped by $1.97 a barrel, while the September ICE Brent futures contract decreased by $2.13. The U.S. dollar dropped by 0.923 points, bringing it now to 98.820 against a basket of foreign currencies. And on Thursday, July 31st, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to impose new punitive tariffs ranging from 10 to 40% on multiple nations to be effective on August 7th after a 90-day pause announced in April. Mexico and China remain pending. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that non-farm employment growth in the United States in July rose by 73,000, below market expectations for job gains of around 150,000, and reflecting ongoing softness in labor demand since April. The U.S. unemployment rate was unchanged at 4.2% in July, holding in a 4% to 4.2% range since May of 2024. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information on your beans, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished lower on Friday, the first trading day of the month. If you were looking for new month, new money, it was not there. Soybeans continue to see some short covering, awaiting President Trump's tariff extensions on Friday. That was the headline, at least. That short covering basically ended up with beans putting in a flat day overall, while corn was lower and wheat was lower as well. Grain and soybean prices are likely going to be grinding lower in the weeks ahead because everybody is starting to pencil in a record large corn harvest, at least. I talked with several farmers around the northern Indiana, northwest Ohio area over the course of the past several days. All of them suggest that corn is almost a lock at very, very good yield levels. Soybeans look good as well. A few concerns about maybe we see a damp or foggy kind of August that should allow or could allow for some disease pressure, but still, it's tough to see that right now. On the trade side of things, there were no Chinese new crop sales on the books last week. President Trump has to decide whether to extend or raise Chinese tariffs for another 90 days. Interestingly, that decision did not come out through the end of the trading session on Friday. The old trade deal does not expire till August 12th. Well, trade deal, the extension of tariffs, that doesn't expire till August 12th. Both sides have some additional time to negotiate, but it sounds like overall the U.S. and China are going to just continue to discuss this from afar, not meeting anytime soon for additional discussions. They're trying to keep a Geneva Accord on rare earth minerals intact. Intercommodity spreading was high last week, especially into the Friday trading period. It was that way for a solid week. Bankers took profits on long beans, or rather short beans, long corn spreads with the unknowns of President Trump and different tariff scenarios. Brokers estimate that on Friday, funds sold 2,900 contracts of wheat, about flat in soybeans, and sold a net 1,200 contracts of corn. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Back with more markets after this.
Did you know that soybeans are the secret sauce behind Ohio's booming poultry farms? Each year, poultry consume a whopping 937 million bushels of soybean meal nationwide. This high-protein powerhouse keeps chickens and turkeys thriving, making Ohio #2 in egg production and #9 in turkey farming. From farm to table, soybeans power the farms that feed families. Brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
As we approach the long days of harvest, the Ohio Soybean Council continues investing in the future of the soybean industry. Your checkoff contribution supports ongoing education programs and collaborative outreach to inspire the next generation of agricultural leaders. You can count on the Ohio Soybean Council to support you and future generations on your farm with opportunities that make a difference. Visit soyohio.org to see all the ways the Ohio Soybean Council is invested in your future. That's soyohio.org.
Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, kind of a slow start at setting trends. September corn up 3/4 at $3.90 1/4 cent. December up 3/4 at $4.11 1/2, and March up 3/4 at $4.29. August beans unchanged at $9.61 3/4. Then November new crop up 2 at $9.91 1/4 cent, and March up 2 at $10.26 1/4. September wheat unchanged at $5.16 3/4. December unchanged at $5.37, but when you get to March, unfortunately down 1/4 cent at $5.55 1/2 cents. In livestock on Friday's close, August cattle were up $2.35 to $230.12. The October up 52 at $223.67. Carry them on out and feed them till December, and you're up 50 cents at $224.42. August lean hogs were up 22 at $107.35. October hogs up 47 at $90.05, and December, while up 62, only at $82.35. September feeder cattle, $333.92, up $2.37, and October feeder cattle, $331.85, up $1.67. If you're looking for more coverage of the Ohio State Fair on our website and on YouTube, you can watch each of the Grand Reserve exhibitors tell you a little bit about their story, where they're from, what they kind of highlights they might recommend for other showers and young showers. So quite a little opportunity for them to tell their story. And we've got a number of compliments on those videos. So check it out again. All the links at ohioagnet.com. But if you're on YouTube, you can search the Ohio AgNet coverage, and it's right there. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Dale Minyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.